we see who uses Python today. Python is being applied in real revenue generating products by the real companies. Google makes extensive use of Python in its web searches system and employ Python creator. Intel, Cisco, HP, Seagate, Wilcom and IBM use Python for hardware testing. ESRI, Environmental Science Research Institute, uses Python as an end-user customization tool for its popular GIS mapping products. The YouTube video sharing service is largely written in Python. Now we see about Python keywords. Keywords in Python. Keywords are reserved words that have special meaning in the Python language. Because they are reserved, they cannot be used as identifier. Example of keyword, that is if, while, class, import. These are the some examples of Python keywords. There are 32 keywords in Python. All keywords except true, false and none are the lowercase and they must be written as we see about the Python identifiers. A Python identifier is the name used to identify a variable function. An identifier start with a letter capital A to Z or small a to Z or an underscore followed by 0 or more letter and 0 to 9. Python does not allow punctuation characters such as dollar, at the rate and percent within identifier. Manpower is a one type of variable and small manpower, it is a small case manpower is the one type of variable. Both are different identifier in Python. There are some rules of naming conversion for Python identifier. Class name start with an uppercase letter or other identifiers start with lowercase letter. Starting identifier with a single heading indicating that the identifier is private. In Python, identifier starting an identifier with two leading underscore indicate a strongly private identifier. If the identifier also end with leading underscore, the multiple word can be separated using an underscore. There is some examples of identifier. Example is temperature, comma, my. Now, two types of comments in Python. Comments are very important while writing a program. They describe what is going on inside the program so that the person looking at the score code does not have a hard time figuring it out. You might forget the key details of a program you just wrote in a month time. So taking the time to explain this concept in the form of comments in every fruitful. In Python, we use types of comments, single line comment and multi-line comment. It extends up to the new line character. Single line comment are for programmer to better understand the program. Python ignore the both types of Python command. Here we give the simple example of single line command. In Python, for single line command we use the hash. Okay, here example. In multi-line command we also use the hash for the multi-line command. In each and every line we use the hash for the multi. For multi-line comment in Python, we also use the string returner to write multi-line comments. Okay, triple or multi-line comment we use. Another ways of doing this use triple dots. These triple dots are generally used for multi-line string, but that can be used as a multi-line comment as well. Unless they are not document string, they do not generate any extra code. This is the example of multi-line comment. In triple quote, we use for the multi-line comment in Python programming language. In next slide, we see about the variables used in Python. A variable is a name, location used to store a data in a memory. It is helpful to think of variable as a container that holds data that can be changed later in the program. For example, we have a variable a and the value of a is 10. Here we have created a variable named a. We have value 10 to the variable. You can think of variable as a bag to store book in it, and that book can be replaced at any time. It means we can change the value of variable a. Suppose we insert the value 2 in variable a, then the variable a replace the old value with new value. That is now the value of a is 2. So in Python, the current variable value is accepted. In Python, we don't actually assign the value to the variable. Instead, in Python gives the reference of the object value to the variable. There are some variable used in Python. The name identifier, int, float, string, double, storage space is sufficient for the type in Python variable. Now we see data types in Python. Every value in a Python has a data type. Since everything is an object in Python programming, data types are actually classes and variables are instant object of classes. There are various data types used in Python like numeric value, string, boolean, list, tuple, dictionary, and list in list. We will see one by one with example. Integer, floating point number, and complex number fall under the Python numbers category. They are defined as int, float, and complex data in Python. We can use type function to know which class a variable or a value belongs to. Integer can be any of length. It is also limited by the memory variable. Floating point number is accurate up to 15 decimal place. Integer and floating point are separated by decimal point. Example, 1 is an integer value and 1.0 is a floating point number. So both are different. Now we will see example of complex number. Suppose x plus yj. In this example, x is a real part and y is a imaginary part. Here also we will see example of a string. In this string we accept the variable x and the string is mine. Okay, in the double quote and single quote we will accept the string in a Python. Like boolean, the boolean is a one type of Python data type. This is the true or false value for the boolean data type. Here y is equals to 2 and x is equals to false. Same like the above example of Python data type. Next concept of a list. List is the most versatile data type variable in Python, which can be written as a list of comma separated value items between square brackets. Important thing about the list is that item in the list need not be a same type. Here we'll give the example of the list. List 1 having the value in square bracket physics, chemistry 1997 and 2000. Here in list 1 having the different data types of value. In list 2 having the same value of an integer type in square bracket. Value is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the some example list. There are some functions used in Python of the list. First is the CMP in bracket list1 comma list2. CMP means compare. In the list, compare functions are used for compare the element of the row the list. Okay, for this CMP function we use the toList. With the help of toList we can compare the function. Then next function is len list. It gives the local length of the list. With the help of len function we'll calculate the total length of the list. Next is a max of list. It returns item from the list with max value. If we have to got a maximum numbers of element at the time we use the max function. Then next is a mean list. Mean list is a one type of list function used in Python. It return item from the list with minimum value. If you find out the minimum value from the list, at the time we use the minimum mean list function. Next is a list sequence. It's used to convert the tuple into list. If you have a tuple and if you want to the list, at that time we use the list sequence function. Help of this list sequence function, with the help of we can convert the tuple into the list. So these are the some functions used in the list in a Python programming language. Now here the some example of list indexed are indexing concept used in the list. Where an item is in the list is called as an index. There are the two examples. Suppose one variable battles and having some value John, Paul, Gorge and Ringo. Suppose we have to find out the John index number. So only write down battle of 0th index. So we know that the John's index number into the list. Okay. So here there are four variable or value in the battle variable, but the in list index start from 0. John in 0th position, Paul in 1 position, Gorge in 2nd position and Ringo in 3rd position. So Python always start at 0 for the list. The next concept is tuple. Tuple are used to store multiple atoms in a single variable. Tuple is the one of 4 built-in data type in Python used to store collection of data. The other 3 are list, set and dictionary, all with different qualities and usage. A tuple is a collection of which is ordered and unchangeable. Tuples are written with rounded bracket and list is written at square bracket. This is the major difference between list and tuple. Now we see about the tuples atom. Tuples atom are recorded unchangeable and allow duplicate value. Tuples atom are indexed. This indexed also start from 0. Tuple indexed and list index start from 0 location. The first index has index 0. The second index has index 1. The third index has index 2 and so on. Now we see orders in tuple. When we say that tuples are recorded, it means that the item have a defined order and that order will not change. Suppose we define the order in the tuple, then at that time we can't change the order of a tuple. Now we see about the tuple unchangeable. Tuples are unchangeable. It means that we cannot change, add or remove atom after tuple has been created. Now we see allow duplicates in tuple. Since tuples are indexed, tuples can be have an item with the same value. It means suppose we have a tuple 1 equal to, suppose we have a character A, B, C, D and A. So in tuple accepting the duplicate value. Now we see create tuple with one atom. To create tuple with only one atom, you have to add a comma after that atom. Otherwise, Python will not recognize it as a tuple. Suppose we have a tuple. Suppose we have an example tuple 1 having only one character a and comma. So this indicates this is the tuple. Now we see here the two examples of tuple. Tuple 2 having the value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and tuple 3 having the character A, B, C, D. Now we see, suppose we have accessing the value 1 index to 5th index. So only print tuple 2 in square bracket 1 colon 5. Now we get the answer 1 to 5 numbers are print in a tuple. So our output is 2, 3, 4, 5. Now there are built-in tuple function used in Python programming language like list. Our first built-in function for tuple is cmp tuple 1 comma tuple 2. This is same for like a list function. List compare function. It compares element of both tuple. For this comparison, we require the two tuple 1 and tuple 2. Now next built-in tuple function is len tuple. With the help of len tuple gives the total length of the tuple. Now we see third built-in tuple function is a max tuple. Maxed round bracket tuple. It returns atom from the tuple with max value. Suppose we want the maximum value from the tuple. At that time we use the max tuple function. With the help of max tuple function we got the maximum value from the tuple. Next is a mean tuple. It returns atom from the tuple with minimum value. And last is a tuple sequence. With the help of tuple sequence, it converts list into tuple. Suppose we have a list and this list it will convert to the tuple. At that time we use the tuple sequence built-in function. With the help of this we automatically convert our list into the tuple. This is the all about built-in tuple function used in Python programming language. Now we see about the string. String in Python are surrounded by either single quotation mark or double quotation mark. Now we see, suppose we have an example hello. Suppose we have to print hello word in the Python programming language. Okay, hello is the one type of string. So we have to print the string in Python programming language. We use the double quote or single quote and print our result. You can display the string literal with the print function. For the printing the output, we use the print function in a Python programming language. Now we see assign string to a variable. Assigning a string to a variable is done with the variable name followed by an equal sign and the string. Here, suppose we have one example a is equals to hello. Here a is a variable name and hello is a value assigned to this variable. So here the assigning string to the variable. Next is a multi-line string. There are single line string also used in Python programming language and multi-line string also used in Python programming language. You can assign a multi-line string to a variable by using 3 double quotes or 3 single quote. Here we have two example of 3 double quotes and 3 single quote for using multi-line string. Now we see here now we see string operator. There are two string operator used in Python programming language. First is the concatenation and second is the multiplication. Suppose we have to concatenate the two word. At that time we use the concatenation function used in string operator. Suppose we have to print the any multiplication value. At the time we use the string multiplication. So this is all about the string in Python programming language. Now we see Python operator. Operators are used to perform operation on variables and value. There are different types of operator used in Python programming language. We will see one by one. First is a arithmetic operator are used to numeric value to perform common mathematical operation. Assignment, there are different arithmetic operator like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, mod, percent. These are the different types of arithmetic operator used in Python programming language. Now we see assignment operator. Assignment operator are used to assign value to the variable. These are the some assignment operator like equal to, plus equal to, minus equal to, divide equal to, multiplication equal to. Now we see relational or comparison operator are used to compare the two value. Okay, relational operator used in Python programming language for comparing or comparing the statement greater than, equal to, not equal to, equal to. Okay, these are some relational operator used in Python programming language. Now we see logical operator in Python programming language. There are three logical operator used in Python programming language. First is the logical AND, second logical OR, and third is the logical NOT. The logical AND, it returns true if both statements are true. The logical OR returns true if one of statement is true, and the logical NOT without the result return false if the result is true. Okay, so these are the some logical operator used in Python programming language. Now we see identity operator also used in Python programming language. Identity operator are used to compare the object not if they are equal but if they are actually the same object with the same memory location. There are two identity operators used in Python programming language. First is a is operator and second is a is not operator. The is operator is used to return true if both variable x are same object. Now the example, suppose x and y two variable. X is equal to, x is a y is called as a is. It is an example of is operator. Is not, it return true if both variable are not the same object, means x is not y. Okay, so these are the different types of operator used in Python programming language. This is the very important operator for the Python programming language. Now we see some examples of Python operator. These are some arithmetic operator example. We will see, suppose we have a two variable, x is equals to 15 and y is equals to 10. Suppose we have to add these two number. At that time we only type print x plus y and we got a result 25. Suppose we have to subtract these two number, simply print x minus y, we get the result automatically. Now in this way we use all operators in Python programming language. So guys, this is the basic introduction about the Python programming language in recent trends in IT. Thank you so much.